Hey, welcome to the Talk Movies podcast. I'm Drew.
I'm Cam.
And today we are finally straying away from the, because we're doing Black History Month for obviously a month. And so now this is our first movie outside of doing that series. And it is over, the 1971 thriller drama, Play Misty For Me, starring and directed by Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Cam, who else is in this movie?
Jessica Walter, Donna Mills, Don Siegel. Yeah, I don't know anyone else outside of
A lot of black and white pictures, which makes...
Yeah, this came out in 71. And this week was Drew's week. And
It was.
I texted him, I think a day or two ago. And I was like...
Yesterday, yeah.
Yesterday, I was like, yeah, what movie do you want to do? And he said this. I looked it up. Saw it was from 71. I thought it was a really...
We don't do old movies.
We don't. This is... I mean... It depends on what you consider old. Because I've talked to people and they're like, anything before 2010 is old. I'm like,
Really?
Really?
We've done a lot of old ones.
Yeah, but 71, that's a...
Yeah, we've done, we did The Shining, which was 1980.
2001.
2001, yeah, that was our oldest one by far, probably, 1968. Maybe we'll add another oldie just to kind of in the mix. Also, a sneak peek into next week, me and Cam are going to plan to talk about Dune Part 2. Obviously, with our schedules, that might be different, might change or whatever. We might just talk about the first Dune and then do Dune Part 2 in the next episode, kind of have a series of that. Sure as heck not going to do the same episode because that is 5 hours of movie that I do not want to talk about one episode. But yes, we were talking about Play Misty For Me, and I chose this movie, one, because it was on Netflix, one, it was short, two, it was short, and three, because I heard about it because, it wasn't, I don't think, the first, but it was definitely one of the older kind of psycho ex-girlfriend kind of films that we see kind of all the time now with movies like Obsessed. Goodness, what are the other ones?
I thought of Misery.
Yeah, Misery.
Kind of like that work, not the ex-girlfriend part, but...
Psychotic, kind of like obsession with someone. Yeah, and this one, I had never heard of it until this semester. Because our horror class, Drew Britton, or not horror class, our horror teacher, Drew Britton, talked about it. And I don't know, I thought it was interesting because Clint Eastwood's in it. And he's kind of known for his more, like, badass kind of guy. Like, he's always the hero and everything. And this one, he's kind of the victim in a way. So
yeah,
it's kind of
getting terrorized. Wait, did Drew mention this in class?
It production for, I think he did.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't there for that. But...
Because he directed it, too, which... I did not know. I don't know when Clint Eastwood started directing his stuff. I don't know if this was his first one. I think he directed some of the westerns that he was a part of back in the 60s, which I guess I'll ask you guys and I'll ask you, Cam, and I was talking to you earlier. Has Clint Eastwood ever looked young in his entire life?
He was
40 in 1971. He was 41. Isn't that nuts?
In 1971, he was 40. He was born in 31? Wait, 30? 1930?
Yeah.
What the? What?
So he was 41 when this came out. And
1930, yeah, man, he's up there.
He looks younger. I still think he looks old. You know what I mean? It's just, but and he's also like just. I don't want to bash on an old man, but like he's just like has a weird build. He's like very skinny, extremely tall, and he plays kind of what do you call him? He plays a player.
Yeah, it's kind of like a pimp, but like, not a pimp, but like he's a player, but
because
by his house, he brought it up to me. His house is not like a place a lady wants to be at.
So the plot I guess is about this DJ for a radio station, and I don't know where it takes place in.
Couldn't tell you.
I don't think they ever mention it, but he meets a fan who always calls him and says, "Play Misty, the song for me," and he meets her. They hook up, and then after that, she becomes completely infatuated with him. And, I mean, that's basically it. I mean, and then she becomes violent. And once he kind of strays away from the relationship and gets back together with an ex of his, then it's like, oh no, she's like stalking him and doing everything. Yeah, he is. I wouldn't say I feel bad for him because he does kind of come off as kind of a douche to women. Like he does, like he's kind of just. Like, he hooks up with her, and he's like, oh, yeah, see you later.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I get that that's...
one night stand type of thing, but...
Like, I get for her to be upset after that one thing, but then she obviously goes off the handle very quickly. Like, very quickly.
So, could you, like... Obviously, there's an extent where you're like, all right, you're doing too much, but to what... Is she entirely wrong?
I mean,
Like when the stuff get like too far, because she has a right to be mad. You're my favorite.
okay, I am not a player. I don't know. I can't get into Clint Eastwood's shoes and be like, well, But no, I don't think. I think like when it first starts and her being upset, I think it's justified because I mean he kind of just kind of throw her off to the side. He kind of just, does his business and then moves on, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then obviously, yeah, when she starts like copying his key to his house, I almost said apartment because it looks so freaking run down, and he has a pond.
And his front door, like you have to skip rocks to get to the.
Yeah. That's what I was like, because they're trying to cart. Because later in the movie, she like attacks his maid, and they're trying to like cart her off on like a gurney, and like they have to like step on the little like rock things to get her. I'm like
weird
in the bedroom like nightstand wall,
like weird tape hanging off, and it's like his house looks undone.
It's almost to the point where she went in later in the movie and she like ripped it all to and like that looked. I didn't even think the house looked that bad in comparison to what it was earlier.
Nah, man.
I was like, oh, yeah, the couch is just a little ripped up. Like, everything else looked...
I wonder what happened, because that just looks terrible. And
that probably was just a 70s choice. Because you gotta think, this is 2 years after the infamous Summer of Love where everyone was on, like, drugs.
Yeah, the hippie era.
Maybe, like, that was just a thing in the 70s where you just make your house look
like a
characteristic, I guess.
I don't know.
It threw me off.
If I was a girl, I step foot in there. Never mind, man. This is
like a koi pond.
Like
where's this kitchen? We never see a kitchen. I think we just see a bedroom and a pond. Very weird. And he's supposed to be success. He's like a
known. I don't know if he's known, but like he's someone's favorite.
He's not missing meals.
He's not, and he has a maid. So you'd think he'd be living nice, but.
Maybe they were low on money and they just had to find a crap shack somewhere. But what did you think? I mean, Clint Eastwood, what did you think of his acting? Because I don't know. He's just kind of the bravado guy of like the 60s and 70s.
So I'm not like too familiar with his work.
Neither am I. I just know he's just kind of he's known for his like look.
Yeah, he has that I can't
snare
do face. Yeah,
snare towards it.
I only know him from maybe 2 or 3 movies, and none of them are his Western films. I've known him from $1 Million Baby, The Mule. I think I've seen Gran Turismo. So he's always been old to me.
Gran Torino.
Would I say Gran Turismo? Yeah, Gran Torino. Think of another movie. But in this, he just seems so like timid in a way, to like aggressive, but when she's doing too much. What's the lady's name?
Oh, the character's name?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Evelyn. So when Evelyn's doing like going too far, he just seems so. I don't know. I mean, he has a right to be afraid because he's doing all that, but I don't know. It was another opposite kind of, because he was pretty aggressive at the beginning too. He's in public and he's shaking her up. In today's era. Remember when
she calls to the bar and then. She takes his keys?
Yeah, when she takes his keys, and people are coming out the bar and like, oh, he got his own problems. Like that part, I guess that was just like a 70s thing, because you can't do that today. But
yeah, the 70s with its architecture within households and just the way relationships worked were a lot different. I've learned from watching this movie.
Yeah, you could just easily put your hands on a lady.
And no one even like bats an eye. It's kind of like crazy.
Like he has his own problem.
Yeah, and I get like in the context of the movie, it makes sense because she is kind of like at a point, not ruining his life, but kind of like messing with it. There's room to be upset. But to everyone else, it's kind of like, oh, he's just kind of taking this. When he throws her in the taxi at that restaurant.
Yeah, he's like forcefully like.
Which at that point, like I get why he's upset, because this is like a potential like business partner or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's just coming in like yelling, doing all this stuff and everything. Which if I was the employer, I would be like, I'm gonna listen to what you have to say about it. I'm not just gonna leave and like just because of that.
Yeah. Because you're talking about the dinner.
Yeah.
Or the lunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was kind of like, okay, like if I was hiring you, I'd be like, okay, I'll listen to what you have to say. To my knowledge, like. You barely even know this person. You don't know this person.
Yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with me.
Yeah, but what did you think of the Evelyn's actor or actress? What did you think of her performance?
I thought it was. Yeah, it was a weird mix because she was so what's the word when you kind of when you're like, I don't know, girls are saying it nowadays.
Oh boy, here we go.
Gosh, what's the word when you just like, I don't know, will they like do anything for a guy?
Oh, well, this is embarrassing for the two dudes.
Man, it's like
clingy? Is it not clingy?
She was that too, but it's like,
oh, is it whipped?
I guess
she was whipped.
It starts with an S, I think.
Well,
fudge, dude. What's the word?
Well, we can. We'll find that in the edit.
I can't think of it. Yeah. So she was. I'll put it in here because it's bothering me right now.
She would do anything for him.
Yeah, she'll do anything for him. But when
even when he doesn't want it,
when other people got involved, she would like turn so aggressive and mean because she was like, "You knock it off."
Yeah.
Oh, you know.
Yeah. No. It was definitely. She definitely get. Well, I guess at that moment, because like at that time, like women weren't. If they did that, it'd be kind of like, what the heck?
Yeah. Like, talking to me.
Yeah, especially like towards other people. Yeah, and so right off the bat, we can see that she's, outbursts. Like she'll have outbursts like out of nowhere, and when one thing doesn't go her way, she'll play the victim, or and that's no more apparent than when he says like, oh yeah, this is over. She goes, oh okay, I can go home. Like immediately after, she was just begging to stay, and she goes to the bathroom. That's when she slits her wrists.
Yeah.
And okay, so slitting wrists is a pretty obscene thing to see, but I gotta say, those zoom ins on the eyes that they kept doing is so funny nowadays that when it happened, it's his face going like it's so hard not to be funny. But I get at the time that was like how you like said, oh, he's shocked. You know what I mean? But like when it keeps doing that, it's like in the blood. Like it doesn't even, you don't see any cuts. You see like just like paint everywhere. And he lets her stay in his house, and I get it, but like, why? Did she go to the hospital? Like
I thought he called someone in.
Oh, he called someone in.
Yeah, and then they said you take care.
Because he didn't want to make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, which is kind of weird because you think like this lady almost died in your bathroom. This is a perfect excuse for you to get rid of her and have her staying like.
Say like, hey, she slit her wrist when I told her this. Like, yeah, like what the heck?
Yeah,
because it's not until she tries to kill the maid that she's put in like a loony bin, and even then it's like.
Then she got out.
Yeah, she got out, which. I mean. She escaped it, correct? Or was it like a technicality kind of thing?
I thought she got on like parole or something. Because
time passed. Because time did pass. Yeah. Because by that point he's like together with Toby, I think was the girlfriend's name. The reason for some reason I know the girlfriend's name other than the main chick, but
Jessica Walter.
Yeah, she was in Arrested Development. I realized, which is a show with Jason Bateman and Michael Cera.
I like Jason Bateman. I've never seen that though. Arrested Development.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's so 70s, and like it has to me when I was watching, I was like, oh, this is charming because like it's the 70s and like this is kind of how people act and everything. So it's kind of, there's a novelty to watching it like that. And I think at the time this movie was pretty like, oh, this is kind of suspenseful. But I feel like now, since like I personally have watched like a lot of these movies, like Obsessed, that has a lot more money, a lot newer and everything. Watching this is kind of a letdown because especially the end.
Yeah.
It just happens. It doesn't just happen, but it happens. We're building the entire thing up to this point, and then it's over really quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because for context, they're fighting. No. Evelyn.
Well, before we get to that, let's talk about the twist when we figure out that, because it's in the script, or not in the script, but it's just in the movie where his girlfriend Toby lives in a secluded place, and she keeps getting new roommates and everything.
Yeah. And
so she gets a new roommate, and Clint Eastwood's character is like, oh man, I hate the roommates because I always got to mess with them. And then when she says like, oh yeah, I get another roommate, her name's Annabelle, and we don't see Annabelle ever. We see the one before, but we don't see Annabelle. And it's revealed that Evelyn
was the roommate.
What'd you think of that twist? Because I thought it was, especially with the poem that she reads to David which is Clint Eastwood, on the radio.
Yeah.
I thought that was a nice twist to throw in there. I thought it was decent.
Yeah, I wasn't mad at it. It would
it made sense to me.
I didn't understand like why she kept getting new roommates to begin with though.
I think it was just because she mentioned before that it was just so secluded for them, so far from town. I think naturally one just moved out, and then she got another one, but she moved in with the friend, the fellow DJ, at that music video we watched. And we'll get to that in a second. Yeah. But what do you think of the twist? Because I thought it was a
I didn't mind it. It was it was a good setup because it's thrown in a little bit. Yeah. But then when you find out that she was actually a roommate, it wasn't like a big overthink like, whoa, you know, but
yeah,
not too mad at it.
Convenience wise, I find it crazy that she's been living with her for more than a day, you know, like she's been living there probably like a couple weeks. I don't know, but definitely more than a day. And of course, the same night is when Clint Eastwood's like, because she says that, she calls him, she says a poem where it's like or the character in the poem is like Annabelle or whatever, and she says a line from it. You know, if she read that to me, like that would take me months to decode that, decipher what the heck she was talking about. Because she said it earlier in the movie too, didn't she?
Yeah, I think they were on the phone. What happened?
Because I remember the cop keeps trying to get him to remember what she said.
Yeah.
And he can't. And I think that, because if that's the case, then the poem, him remembering it, makes more sense because she says again, and then it kind of rings a bell again. So that was good. So I thought that was a nice like reveal. It wasn't just kind of like, oh, she appears and then she's doing. There was actually like kind of a twist to it. What I didn't really get is that she started like cutting the hair of the girl when she was tied up, the girlfriend.
I don't know.
And I thought like it was going to be like, oh, I'm going to make your hair look just like mine or something like that. And she was going to, like, there was going to be a setup, but then he walks in and she's just in the bed. Like, it felt like they like missed shots. Like there was a different ending and they just had to like cut it quickly.
The whole thing was kind of weird because, I'm thinking like, what was her goal? Like, was she trying to kill Clint Eastwood and then have the girl live? Because if you're going to tie her up, you know, usually when you tie someone up, that's like you're cutting and terrorizing them. That's like you're setting up to kill them. But
it felt, I don't know. It felt like she was gonna try and put the girl on like display and like have torture Clint Eastwood, like killing her or something like that. Like make it more of like a show. But then it just turned into her hiding in the closet.
Yeah, and as soon as he walked in, she just went at him.
Which I'm sorry, but it's Clint Eastwood. Like he's 6'5". He can, you know, like I guess she has a knife, but like it was just so awkward. It was so, he walks in and then she's like slashing him and he's like, he starts walking. Mind you, there's no music.
I want to include, not that there was no music, but like you can hear the Foley in it. Yeah. So like when they're each taking steps, you can hear like the emphasis on each step. Yeah. I'm just hearing it on the side.
And my
on the other side.
Oh.
Drew dropped his phone.
I just dropped my phone, everybody.
It's
Google Pixel's indestructible.
Gotcha.
But anyway, it ends weird because she slashes him like multiple times, and then all of a sudden he punches her in the face, and she goes flying off the cliff and like dies there. And they show it. Like I have to say, for a movie that like has limitations for the time, they actually like get a dummy and they show that thing fall.
Yeah. Wasn't expecting that though.
I was expecting how many like. They have shots of the beach, shots of cliffs, so much aerial shots, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, I was early on in the movie too.
Yeah, the first scene. Yeah,
there was. I remember thinking like, man, someone's actually in the helicopter.
Yeah,
there's no drones. No drones at that time.
But yeah, it just ends like that, and I just wish there was like a little more to it because we build up to this final confrontation so much. I one thing I did like about leading up to that, I like how it kind of goes from her like cutting his picture that the girlfriend made, and it's like cutting really back and forth to him driving, and it's using kind of like the cutting, and it's kind of like so like abrupt, like it's such an abrupt cut, like going back and forth. That's kind of making you like get a little uneasy about it. I just wish the ending reinforces that feeling a little better.
I know you say it was rushed. Well, I don't know if you said it on here, but before, you said it was rushed. What?
The ending?
Yeah. Do you think like they should have just lasted or like fought longer? I don't know what this is.
I think if it was something like he gets there, she knocks him out, he wakes up, the girl's like tied up, and she like is threatening to kill the girl if he like does something, you know, like it says, or if she like forces him to kill his own girlfriend, something like that, to just kind of like elongate it and make it seem more like climactic rather than just like I'm hiding in the closet. I'm using her as bait. You punched me. I'm dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we've been here for such a long time, like an hour and a half watching this. And I'm sorry, but like there was definitely time to kill in this movie.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
That the song when they're just on the beach or no in the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the blonde and Clint Eastwood. Were they a thing? Were they like a thing in real life? Because that
they showed it like they were real.
Like 3.5 minutes of of them just walking around, and all you had to do was like have a one shot of them like rekindling what they had, and then like cutting to the shot, because the beautiful shot where it's like sunset and they're walking off holding hands.
Yeah,
that's all you needed. We didn't need that. I didn't need that. I didn't need them going to that music festival.
Don't know what that was about. That was just out of the blue.
It was long. It was, and they were like milking that dry, because they were like, oh, people, let's show how many people there are. Let's show everybody. I forgot I was watching Clint Eastwood for a second.
Do you think like,
I don't know.
There was, maybe it was just me. I feel like there was a lot of like sex scenes.
Oh, in this movie?
Not a lot of sex scenes, but just like, we get that you get girls in the movies, but
it's definitely like comedic how he's like the town player, basically.
Yeah.
Even the guy at the bar.
Yeah. They first meet. They're like, oh yeah, not her. And then
they even have that little game that they played.
What game is that?
It's made up. I think it was just made up just for her to come over and talk to him, because even they says like, oh, like how does it play? He's like, well, you come over here or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, like that's fine.
I was really trying to understand
what they were doing.
Yeah, because they stacked it on top, and they's like, oh, you missed this spot, and then just throws the piece back in the box, and I'm like, what game was it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because it's a movie that like I feel like if it was made today I would hate, but I think I'm just so clouded by the novelty of it being 1971 that like I let some of that stuff kind of go a little more. Like today, if I had to see like a whole 3.5 minute music video of them just walking around, I'd hate it.
Yeah, if it was modernized, you have to hear like Justin Bieber instruments.
Yeah,
back. Yeah,
but visually, I thought the movie was like pretty decent. I mean, for 1971, I think it's good. I think it has a lot of like cool shots, especially like of the horizon, kind of.
Yeah, it wasn't unwatchable. Like I can go back and rewatch it.
Yeah.
But like you said, if it was made today, current actor, who would be like a new person, like
Jacob Elordi. He could be Clint Eastwood in this movie.
I'm not mad at that. Who's the lady?
Who would the lady be?
Sydney Sweeney.
Honestly, you could. I mean, you honestly could. They're both in Euphoria. They kind of play those characters anyway. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, you could do that.
Might as well just do it.
Don't do it though.
I would do it. To play Misty For Me, the remake. Jesus, that's.
What song would it be? I wonder if Misty was a big song back then.
Probably.
Misty.
Clint Eastwood was probably, 30 when it came out? Yeah, I don't know. I think visually, like I said, there's a lot of scenes that make me laugh because it's a lot of shooting in the day and then making it try and look like night scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just what they had to do at that time. For what it's worth, I don't know what the budget was for this movie. But
it made $10 million.
It made well, that's a lot for back then for 1971.
Budget was $950,000.
Really?
That's
a decent for 1971. Is that for 1971? Like, or is that
you want me to convert it? Okay. Let's convert it.
Because if that's 950 today, that's a lot back then. That's like $10 million. That's like a big movie for 1971. So I'm not too shocked. Oh boy, we're
doing that. Nope, not money conversion. What's it called? Inflation,
yeah.
Inflation calculator.
I feel like it should be $7 million?
$7 million. That's
wow. That's crazy. I mean, that's a lot for this movie, I feel like.
$7 million, yeah.
That's kind of crazy. How much? Like, where'd the money go?
Where
do you think the money went to in that? Well,
the draw, probably like to get
to pay the pilot, probably. Yeah. I mean, I felt like that was just unnecessary. Like, maybe they were just given a lot of money and they had to use it. Yeah, they were able to shoot out of a concert, all that stuff, but
made $81 million.
Oof. Well, yeah,
money.
That's great. That's a really successful movie.
Yeah, and Dune just made 90 something.
today. You know?
So
that's crazy.
that's not bad.
Yeah, no, I think Clint Eastwood. I find it interesting that this is he made this movie because he's kind of does a bunch of genres. He does this, which is like a thriller. He's done a bunch of westerns. He has done dramas like Gran Torino and $1 Million Baby. So I don't know. Do you think he's kind of underrated as a director? Do people kind of forget some of his movies that he made?
I think if you grew up with him, then
like now, I think people don't really get that he's a director of Lost.
Because I didn't know he was a big director. I think if you grew up with him, you're happy to see him succeed and whatever. But
attaboy.
Yeah. So because I don't know if I'd say I'm newer to movies, but since I wasn't born in that time, I don't get to.
You're not 95 years
exactly. So, we have new people that we're proud of, like Jordan Peele, and like we look up to, and who's a new director that was like
God, the guy who made Whiplash, Chazelle,
Damien him,
him,
and Quinta Brunson, whatever. No, Quinta from Abbott Elementary, she's Ava DuVernay, stuff like that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So who's the new guy? Oh, he does sci-fi.
Is the guy who made Dune? He's the new?
He's kind of new. Yeah. I think his first one was like 2015.
Because he made Prisoners too.
No.
The Denis Villeneuve, whatever his name is.
Really?
Who made
Killers? That's David Fincher.
Oh, The Killer? Yeah, that was David Fincher.
Okay, so there's a whole bunch of people we're, I guess, growing up with.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I thought the performance was good. It's definitely corny for the time. It's 1971, so it's a corn fest. The dialogue between the cop and Clint Eastwood itself is just like classic 1970s, like snippy kind of dialogue back to each other, which I thought their like chemistry was like pretty cool. Like they both seemed like cool guys to each other. And I mean, when the cop died, rest assured, when the cop died, I did not give a crap. Like it's like, okay, I don't care. But
oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Clint Eastwood's like tone the whole time is like, I can't think of a line, but he was trying not too hard to be suave, and I can't define it. Like
because he went to his house like, she escaped from the thing. He's like, I'm glad you really busted your ass to come over here and tell me.
Yeah, it's so.
Which I mean, that's a fair statement. I mean, let's be real here, but it's the way he says it, where it's like always like a sassy little. It can't just be like, and I think that's kind of why it kind of works for this. But in any other movie, it'd be like a guy like fearing for his life, not Clint Eastwood being like, I'll watch out for her, and then
trying to sound like Batman, but like sound cool at the same time. It's the tone you use when you're trying to make fun of old people.
Yeah, exactly.
Older people in this time period. But we're not ages here.
We are not.
We love all people, young people.
I mean, but I can still beg the question. Like, I don't think Clint Eastwood's ever looked like youthful in his life.
Him and Morgan Freeman, they've always been old.
And Jack Nicholson, like he has looked old. Like I mean, and they're just old.
Shout out to the old people.
Shout out to the old.
Let me not say if you're old.
If you're a senior. If you're up there.
Let us know. Send a comment.
Yeah. But I mean, personally, I enjoyed it. I think I would rate it. Ooh, let me think. I think I would rate it a 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. It was average, but it was a little above average, just because I can respect it. It looked good, and it was a freaking expensive movie to make for the time. So yeah, it looks good.
I think I'd give it a 3 as well. It wasn't as. I didn't think it was gonna be bad, but I didn't think it was gonna be too good. But I go back and watch it. It was a good story, good plot, somewhat good acting. So not too mad at it.
Definitely
3 out of 5.
Would you be open to doing more old movies later, or?
No. Nah, we can do them.
I've been wanting to do like an older movie, like a movie like Psycho. That's kind of like
thinking about doing
like not like revolutionary for like a genre. You know what I mean?
Not like random old movies.
No, this was kind of a different pick just because I found it, and so I did it. But yeah, we can try and do an older movie before I depart from the university of this place.
I think Drew has like 10 episodes left or something like that.
Actually shorter. I think I have. This is week 8, week 9.
Wow. So like
I have like 6.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah. So that's it. Unless I fail out and I stick around for another year, which I probably cannot do. But yeah. But yes, that has been the episode over Play Me Misty. That was not the title of the movie. Play Misty For Me is what the title is. There we go. I am just an idiot. Yeah, we'll see you next week when we talk about. Hopefully, we can talk about Doom Part 2. But if not, we're going to talk about Dune 1, and then maybe the following week we talk about Dune Part 2. We'll definitely, I mean, when we come back for this episode, you'll see what we talk about with the thumbnail.
The new versions of Dune, not the originals.
Not the original, because that is kind of bad.
Yeah, we're doing the
2021, and then the new one that comes out.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys like that episode. We will try and go watch it. But until then, we will see you next week for our new episode. See ya.
Bye.